One early morning in March, Maurizio Gucci, grandson of Guccio Gucci and once heir apparent to the company, was found laying in a pool of blood, thus putting a stamp on the reign of the Gucci family amongst the fashion's elite. But how did the Guccis lose control of the family empire? The high life, the fly life. The House of Gucci was founded in 1921 in Florence, Italy by Guccio Gucci, who was inspired by his work as a bellhop at the Savoy Club in London, as well as his work at an upscale train company. The small shop offering fine leather and accessories would expand over the years, with Guccio's 3 biological sons who worked in the family business. Guccio died in 1953, leaving his 3 biological sons to business: Vasco, Rodolfo, and Aldo. Aldo was now running the business and was credited for taking Gucci International. When Vasco died, Aldo and Rodolfo split the company 50-50. Rodolfo was an actor credited with many films, but now with his father dead, he would devote himself entirely to the family business. In 1983, Rodolfo passed away, now leaving the majority of the stake of the business to his son Maurizio, who did not approve of the direction in which Aldo was taking the company. Maurizio was now the majority owner of the company due to Aldo giving a small portion to his 3 sons. The company was now struggling under Aldo's leadership, which saw mass production of Gucci products that cheapened the identity of the luxury brand. Entering Patrizia Reggiani, Maurizio's wife, who he met at a party in Milan in 1970. He was instantly smitten with Patrizia, who had come from a wealthy family herself, but she wanted more than wealth. She strongly desired to be amongst Milan's elite. Patrizia, who was a popular socialite in Milan, had a reputation that Rodolfo, Maurizio's father, caught wind of, and he urged his son not to take this woman seriously because of her motives, but he was much too late. Maurizio was in love. So it would actually be Patrizia over the years who would influence Maurizio to take a bigger stand within the company by all means necessary. As a result of this, Maurizio would gain the courage to stand up to his father, which became an issue. But once Rodolfo died and left his son with the majority of stake, his confidence turned into arrogance and greed. Maurizio was now taking orders from no one, including Patrizia, which she was not very happy about. Not happy at all. Maurizio would spend much of the 80s engaging in fierce legal battles with his uncle in an attempt to take over the company. Things would become very ugly while playing out in the public eye. His uncle Aldo would serve a year behind bars for tax evasion, and Maurizio would flee to Switzerland after being accused of forgery. Though he was found guilty, he was later acquitted. Maurizio would also end his relationship with Patrizia, spurning her to live with a childhood friend, also relieving her of the Gucci name and elite status which she had thirsted for much of her life. By 1989, Maurizio's takeover was complete, as he succeeded in pushing his uncle out of the company while absorbing his shares. He was determined to revamp the company's image and return it back to prominence. But by 1993, Maurizio's excessive lifestyle, along with the company's outstanding debt, would force him to sell his 50% stake, which meant the name Gucci as it pertained to business no longer belonged to a Gucci, which was piercing to the family. But the person who was most upset that Maurizio lost the company was the person who legally no longer had the right to use the Gucci name, even though she kept doing so. Patrizia Reggiani, who was pissed off and depressed over the $1.5 million annually she received from the divorce settlement. She compared it to a bowl of lentils. A woman who famously said, "I would rather cry in my Rolls Royce than laugh on a bicycle." A woman who Maurizio's late father also warned him to stay away from. On the morning of March 27, 1985, while Maurizio Gucci was visiting his office in Milan, he was gunned down by hired hitmen. Hired by who? Who else? Patrizia Reggiani. There were no arrests made after the murder for 2 years until police received an anonymous tip. In November 1998, Patrizia would be convicted of premeditated murder and sentenced to 29 years, even though she would only serve 18. She would be released in 2016, though she actually was eligible for parole in 2011. But she, in her own words, had never worked a day in her life and wasn't going to start now. So she did 5 more years instead of going into work release. And even though Patrizia was convicted of killing her ex-husband, she was still allowed to keep her $1.5 million annually after she was released from prison. She even received back pay from her time spent in jail, which is absolutely insane. In 2021, a film was released based on this story, although modified, called The House of Gucci, which was based upon a book of the same name. The film was considered a box office success, and even though the Gucci brand is no longer owned by the Gucci family, its clothing and accessories are still being worn worldwide. Thank you so much for tuning in to Life is Lyrical. This is Kev. Y'all make sure y'all like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Go out and build yourself a clothing brand, man. Go out and be somebody. Try not to kill nobody. Peace, love, lyrics.